2. Oh, am I good? Yeah. We're good? Okay. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for game 2 of a 2-game series between Dignitas and Mousesports. And, well, here's Dignitas right now, and here's Mousesports. That's what happened in game 1. And Mousesports are on the carpet. Can they get back up? We'll find out. I'm LD. He's Lumi. Here we go. Game 2 underway.
Also, I know this is going to be a long broadcast day. We have 6 best-of-2 series. This is just our first one. If you do not come on our stream to watch our broadcast here today, shame on you. But one thing that we do here is that we kind of spoil result in between games. So if you are not into that, maybe shut your eyes, cover your ears a little bit between games, because we will be telling you how the other teams are doing on the other side of the bracket and such and such.
For Mousesports in this game, though, I think their draft already looks a little bit better because they do have a Dragon Knight mid. So if it turns into one of those games where they're behind, they have something to farm for at least. But, I mean, off the bat right now, Dignitas, they get the Alchemist again, and they get a Life Stealer this time for themselves.
Yeah.
No Bat Rider for them. That was banned out by Mouse. As you pointed out, they have to ban Wisp because they can't play it, and they don't want to play against it, which leaves the pool wide open for Dignitas. And once again, I also want to point out, Fata has been getting banned out, and we see it again here. The OD's banned out, the Puck's banned out. Sure, he gets a Dragon Knight mid, and I think it will work better for them than Beastmaster, but it's still not a super high impact solo mid.
Until he gets the Shadow Blade, and you only get the Shadow Blade if you're doing well early game. So
yeah, that's a 3K item.
Yeah, you go towards Dignitas supports. They haven't selected any of them yet. Cassandrin, very good job banning out the Visage, banning out the Rubik, and selecting the Venge. So very much so limiting what Team Dignitas could pick up. Now, the usual support they like to go after this is things like Leshrac. Sometimes they go for Alina, I think. Haven't seen them play Lina. I wonder what is their support. We haven't seen too much of anything else from them.
It'll be 2 new ones. The Jakiro is something they used to run a lot.
Jakiro 61 times.
But when they run the Jakiro, it's usually with Universe's Darkseer, because you can vacuum into Ice Path, into Macro Pirate. That's a really strong combo. So maybe they go for it here. They do need some, I think they need another kind of instant disable or something just to lock down this Weaver in the early mid-game. Right now they've got Alk, and that's it. Prophet once he gets an Orchid or a Slight Device, but that's a lot of time to let Black farm and get the Lincoln Sphere, get the BKB, get his first big item. So they need more lockdown coming from their supports. Does Dignitas ever run a support Alk? Because I imagine it's going mid here, but I guess that is a possibility.
Ooh, Razor is another reason that you might want to run that support out, because he really, and he actually shuts down Lifestealer pretty hard as well. So I feel like this is a very smart counter pick. We saw a lot of the Asian teams use it yesterday. A lot of Asian teams are banning it out.
Ooh, actually, yeah, I like this.
Yeah, it's actually very smart. And of course, the minus armor combination of Weaver, Vengeful Spirit, and Razor, another way to tackle Lifestealer. I think whoever is playing Lifestealer is going to have a tough game here.
Yeah, they have the Swarm that goes through Rage. They have the Venge minus armor and the damage RSG provides. They've got a lot. They've got the instant stun of a Dragon Knight, so if your Rage wears off and Dragon Knight's near you, you're not running away. And like you said, Razor, his ult goes through Magic Immunity. His Static Link goes through Magic Immunity. They've got ways to deal with Lifestealer, but there is an Alk as well, and they are a pretty single target heavy lineup. So if Dignitas go for these 3 cores, they have a lot of split push. They've got a lot of ganking potential in the mid game with the Shadow Blade Alk, Infest Bombs from the Lifestealer Prophet. I don't know that Mousesports have Dignitas outdrafted by any means. I just think they have more ways to win this game. Last game, they had to have a fat Lifestealer, they had to have a fat Weaver, and they both had to be fat. This game, they've got 3 cores, they've got a little more wiggle room.
They do have a little bit more wiggle room, but I think the most important hero to get fat right now, in the early game at least, is Razor.
Yeah.
We have seen multiple times in the past, if Razor just hiccups a little bit in the early game, he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he has to get...
That's true.
He has to get quick boost. He has to get, like, a quick mech or a point booster or whatever he actually decides to go for, a BKB. And that really depends on what Dignitas goes for support. Now, back in the days, they loved to run Shadow Shaman when they were really greedy in terms of having, like, 5 heroes that do things. So they could maybe go back for a little bit. It's a hero that gives you the disable, but at the same time, he is so squishy, he is so slow.
Yeah, I don't think you go Shadow Shaman here. But you mentioned maybe rotating the Alk over to a support role, which they still could do.
Yeah.
What about, say, a Viper? You could run the AUI 2000 Viper, the Snake King mid Alchemist, offlane Lifestealer for Universe.
We saw S4 did that yesterday.
Or sorry, no, not the Snake King Alchemist, but maybe a Snake King Lifestealer Prophet.
Okay. Yeah, I think Viper is definitely a very underestimated hero, although I'm not sure exactly how he does well against DK.
He's great against Razor, though. You can just kite him. He never gets in range to really static link you. And a lot of your damage is magical anyway. It comes from Nether Toxin, which can't be leached. I guess the one thing there is then Snake King's playing like a Lifestealer mid, probably, which isn't... I don't view that as a Snake King
You could
hero.
go Viper mid, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if you don't run the Viper in the tri-lane, then the Viper's, then whoever's in that tri-lane just loses all their damage to static lane.
Yeah, it's a tough situation right now, and I think that's why it goes back to Mousesports drafting quite well.
Yeah.
Right now, Mousesports is actually expecting a support Alchemist because they're banning out. Well, no.
Well, no,
No. They're expecting a carry Alchemist. All right, I got backwards.
Farming Alch
Yeah.
is what they expect. And that's kind of the obvious choice. We're talking about support Alch, but that's only because it looks tough to lane against Mouse. And to kind of dodge that, you could pick a ranged farmer, and then Alch is just a walking damage stun. He doesn't need to right-click.
Right. So
we'll see.
this is actually a very tough draft for Team Dignitas. I'm not exactly sure. What do you go from here?
They'll wait on their last ban for Dignitas. They'll ban out a support Shadow Demon, and that's a pretty obvious ban. Getting rid of a strong support, because Mousesports.
Oh wow, this is aggressive.
Okay.
Vengeful Spirit, Razor, Veno, tri-lane offensive.
Yeah.
This is very aggressive.
I mean, Mouse needed a support, so that's a smart ban from them.
I mean, normally you say, hey man, Venomancer, weak sauce against Lifestealer, but if that Gale sticks on you, it doesn't matter if you're Rage or not. So can you imagine a Gale plus static Link? Just
that all comes to reaction times, and that's where being on LAN makes a big difference. Because like Blitz was, I almost said Bulba, like Blitz was saying, Dignitas have great individual skill. Where they've struggled in the past is some of their drafting, their decision making, and just sort of their team synergy. But their action time should be there. You can rage dodge the Gale. It'll just come down to timing and reactions.
Team synergy. Game 1 said team synergy was epic.
Yeah. But before this tournament, not so much.
Yeah, well.
You remember some of those Dignitas games in Corsair? Oh, man, that was brutal. They just forfeited. They just gave up.
Well, their internet was...
Internet wasn't good.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, here we are. No internet complaints. Hopefully no Phenol pauses today. Phenol is the man, by the way. I don't even think he was the one actually using that computer, but he took the responsibility. I think they're just using his account.
They made an apology post for that.
Yeah, public apology. Sounds like we weren't casting the game. It sounds like it didn't actually affect the results.
It did not, yeah.
Good that it happened in the group stage and they figured out a solution now, hopefully, rather than that happening on the main stage.
Well, let's actually introduce the teams here. Dignitas playing on the Dire side. They're up one game in this best of 3 series, or best of 2 series, excuse me. And their score so far in the group stage is at 5-2. So let's see if they can finish out at 6-2. AUI 2000 playing your one-role Lifestealer. We have Snaking going to Solo Mid Alchemist, so nothing too strange just yet. Fog Dota playing that Crystal Maiden. Had a really, really good Vengeful Spirit last game, or really good Rubik last game. Our Vengeful Spirit last game was way too sexy, and this game he'll be handling the Enchantress. Last but not least, we're going to see Universe Dota going on the long lane.
Then you've got the Germans +1. You've got your Danish captain. Black will be the Razor. He's one of the Germans. Pass, your support Vengeful Spirit. Cinder in on the Venomancer. So they're putting Black in the offensive tri-lane. That leaves Fata as your solo mid Dragon Knight. Rushing the bottle has not been pulled. And then Quakefa, safe lane Weaver, has been pulled a single salve. So we're not going to see Quakefa in the tri-lane this time around. It will be Black. And it's in the aggressive tri-lane as well.
I mean, both Razor and Weaver is one of those heroes that doesn't really suit Black in terms of traditionally, right? Like, this is almost saying, like, oh, Burning, he's going to be playing Razor.
Now, remember, though, Burning has evolved.
Yeah,
Burning has reached his, I don't know if it's his final form, but his next form.
Yeah.
Maybe Black can. He needs to.
I mean, and of course, for those of you guys who don't get the reference, Black is playing things like offensive tri-lane. He's playing things like off-lane solo as a carry, so he does a lot of things that traditionally Burning doesn't do. And Black is very much so similar, evolving as a carry player. And he's playing on the offensive Razor. He's a hero that doesn't flash farm that well. It's a hero that really relies on the early game to have a late game impact. And let's see if he could get that early game today.
So Dignitas, one of the best ways to deal with offensive tri-lanes has been junglers in the past. Especially if you have a pretty defensive tri-lane, which Lifestealer tri-lanes can be if they need to. We have seen in the past that Ake, for example, I think he's the best jungler against offensive tri-lanes. He's very good at shutting them down. Way Too Sexy could be the X factor here. If he comes in, sets up an early kill on Mousesports, they're in a lot of trouble. Right. But this is where having a spell like Gale makes it hard for the Enchantress to actually jump in. So for the time being, we'll see the early damage stolen. AUI 2000 not going to have a good time farming in this lane. The mid lane, probably pretty even in terms of farm early on. So far, pretty close. And then your off lane, Prophet versus Weaver. I like the lanes overall a lot better for Mouse, because their lineup scales better late game, and they still do pretty well in the laning stage.
I mean, Universe should have a very tough time, right? Sakuchi and Gemini Tech is going to harass him down. I don't think he should die, because he has more than enough time to TP out. But at the same time, when you're TPing out against a 1v1 matchup, you're not doing too well.
So Quakefoot Tang going through. He did a bit of a pull here of the Dire Creeps, and Universe, like you said, he should be zoned out of the lane eventually. Nice use of the Sakuchi. They're getting 2 last hits, and then going for the auto attack. So Universe That's what you ideally want to do as the Weaver, and he should have his Reign of Basilius now. Passive start. The big thing this game should be, can Dignitas have the same early movement they had in game number 1? They've got good roaming supports in Crystal Maiden and Enchantress, but they also have supports that need to be effective early. If they're not, they go into the mid game, they don't have the damage aura, the minus armor of Avenge. They do not have the Rubik Spell Steal. These supports don't scale like the game 1 supports of Dignitas, so there's more pressure on them to have a good start.
Yeah, and well, so far, let's see if they're getting that good start here. Would you see Way Too Sexy? Oh, he finds a Heartbeat Storm. I mean, we saw how
Mid
much...
lane's over.
Well, or top lane, right? Can you imagine this against a tri-lane?
Yeah, it's already at 360 HP, though. It's not going to take long to kill.
Oh, it does have a long range. He does have the Smoke of the Seat. Let's see if Enchantress thinks about getting a gank off in anywhere. Mid lane is going to be okay to gank if Snake King has a good stun. He does have a double damage rune if he wants to go.
They've actually given Universe Sentry Wards again, and Quakefa's taking a lot of harassment here.
Uh-oh. Venomancer as well as
Heading up the hill, but they're prepared.
Fog.
There's your Gala, hits Fog, now Cinnamon on the run. Tangoing through, surprise, it's me, AUI 2000. Black not in position, not taking any damage away, and it's another first blood for Dignitas. Now they're getting zapped back.
That Storm, Heartbeat Storm, just look at the range on this thing. Holy crap. It's like 1,000 range. It's insane. Of course, I have to commend the AUI making that Tunnel to Freedom, getting that gank.
Somebody was watching that game last year. That was Zenith, I believe.
Yeah, it was definitely Zenith. Yeah. We were casting that one. It was amazing.
That's some next level Dota, and we're seeing it already. That was on the main stage, but this is already getting me hyped, getting me excited. For the time being, Fata, bottle crowing constantly. He should have his boots coming out now, and he does. They gave up a first blood in this tri-lane, and it's pretty problematic because Dignitas already have a level 4 lifestealer, and they're pushing the lane. And that means Mouse not doing any side pulls, not even getting experience. In fact, they're going to smoke, and they're going to head towards mid. They've decided that this lane is just not going to go their way.
I like that a lot more, though, because last game they were just static. The lane didn't go well, and they just stood there and kept...
Oh, Snake King. Snake King's in a lot of trouble mid. There's your Dragon Tail, and he's pretty much dead.
Yeah, he's spying everything, and that's trying to die to tower as well, but not...
Actually tried to self-deny with the stun there, I guess, but wasn't going to get it to
way
blow
too
up.
long, yeah. But that's fine. I mean, I like that rotation a lot better because last game when you get first blood up top, you're like, oh, let's go back top. It doesn't work like that. You have to make rotations. You have to punish the enemy elsewhere, and they did just that. So Mousesports already making game-to-game adjustment a lot better.
I think that is the one thing that Snake King is a pretty aggressive mid by nature, and the way you punish that is those early game smoke ganks, that mid-game aggression on him, or even baiting him into an overextension. So good movement from them. I mean, obviously, it'd be better if they were doing it preemptively instead of after giving up first blood, but hey, they're doing it anyway. And now it's Dignitas' turn to smoke gank. They'll head towards the middle lane. Dragon Knight, pretty hard to kill even before he hits level 6. Whereas the Alk is much easier before level 6. But with no mana, oh no. Fata's in the river denying a... Oh, he's dead. There's your stun. The wraparound's going to come. Way too sexy. He's got the slow. The damage is in. All they need is a single frostbite here, and they'll get it. Fata's going to fall. Both mids taking turns, overextending, and getting picked off.
And I think it's really a lot more important for Dignitas for those kills.
Because they can push.
Yeah, they could push. Enchantress, Crystal Maiden, like you said, they need to have a very good early start, and they are getting that early start. Crystal Maiden, almost level 4. Another game that I'm stressing on the supports level. Less so important for Crystal Maiden and Enchantress this game, but still, when you have support that are dual roaming, that are just making yourself felt all of the game. And look at this, they're just like taking creeps and the enemy jungle looking to set up even more pressure. Yeah,
this is very aggressive, and they could find Paz here. Paz has no boots. He's close to them, too. If he dies, he could enter Cinder in status from last game, where he just never ends up finding them. Fog, lurking in the trees. Paz in trouble, but Snake King self-stunned. I don't know if this is going to work out the way Snake King hoped. There's a Prophet ult. Paz low, but Black gets a kill top lane. AUI 2000 falling. Now Paz to fall. Make it a 2-for-1 going the way of Mousesports. And overall, getting that kill on that lifestealer and only losing your Venge, great trade for them.
Yeah, a little bit too aggressive for Team Dignitas. And in a mid position like Fata, if you get a solo kill like that, you just propel yourself in terms of experience. He is going to get a tower deny out of it as well. Or will he? Way too sexy. Ninja through the trees. Oh no. Just needed way more damage than he actually had. And well, it was a good attempt. And now Fata coming right back in. Is he going for a stun? I'm not sure about that. Where's the Frostbite? Nothing just yet.
No Nova, no Frostbite, no mana for a single thing. Are they just going to try and run him down?
Sprouts?
They're diving for a Sprout. Yeah, that would be really forcing the issue. And they will back off. Did you see how Snake King stunned himself mid? Because I actually didn't. It seemed like he should have been able to get off his nuke.
I think
and that self-stun really screwed them.
Did he TP in with stun already channeling, or what's the deal?
He was just diving the tower.
Okay.
No, when he died mid earlier, he was like over here.
I didn't see him how he stunned himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was just him holding it too long, Or if it was him getting bench stun or something. I don't think it was a bench
It definitely
stun,
turned the gank around, though.
Yeah.
So whatever that was,
Hopefully they can avoid it.
Yeah. Well, Snake King does not have nearly as good of a start that he had last game, and the tower mid is denied as well, so that's going to free up the DK to start ganking elsewhere.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Pasto, he's looking for a kill. Fata does not have that range stun just yet, and that's kind of big because generally that's how you initiate a smoke gank for your supports.
Elder Dragon form is cooling down, and they rotate Black onto the middle lane.
But Snake King's coming right back in.
You know, they got it. Oh,
The sentry ward's right there, and there's 4 people here.
Prophet
and suddenly-
TP got canceled, though. Universe said, no, Snake King, we're not going, but you Snake King already charging in. Black was there. They'll find one. They could find 2. They just need a pasta, but he gets body blocked by Black. Miscommunication from Mouse. Then just better move speed than Crystal Maiden would have been able to run her down for sure. Costly not to get the 2 kills, but they're still going to try and push this tower.
And they have the Venom wards. I do want to say that the Mousesports are just on top of it this game. They noticed that there was an invisible rune in Snake King, and before they just dropped the Sentry Ward on top of the hill. They know that he was going to initiate with it. So Snake King 2 times in a row played a little bit too aggressive, got punished for it, and that mid-tier 1 tower taking a ton of damage. Snake King charging up a stun. Oh, if he stuns himself, and he will stun himself.
Poor guy. Now they might turn around. Here's your Infest Bomb, though. They've jumped directly on Fata. There's no swap from Paz. He doesn't have it yet. Fata low. Not dead yet, though. He's still alive. There's a stun on AUI. He's going to live. Now the Prophet transcrated. Still running. He's got a TP. Will he go for it now? I don't think he gets out here. They all converge. They all blow him up. It took a lot to bring him down, though.
Yeah, but this game...
Can I ask, where is Koikfa in these fights? Because I do feel like this Weaver would be getting a lot of work done.
Well, I mean, it's a strategical choice to not TP there, right? He does have the TP. He can get there anytime, but he says, you know what? Let's just get some more farm. Because Black on that Razor isn't going to have the same carry performance that he usually has. And it's really up to Koikfa to deliver the other carry side.
I just think Lifestealer, or rather Weaver, is going to do more in these large-scale fights. Because no matter what, you get off the Swarm, and that's a big team fight spell early on. Whereas... your under-leveled Razor runs in, might just die. There's a lot of burst damage.
Razor is actually doing okay, though. He's 1-0-1. He's going to finish threats fairly soon. He's not dying, and I think for early game Razor, that is definitely the most important aspect of his game. Also, very similar like the way that the Dignitas support got off to a quick start because of these ganks. Paz is almost level 5. We see the Venomancer.
They're actually getting out-leveled, though, Lumi.
They are getting out-leveled.
They're both 4, and Dignitas are both 5.
But, I mean, having a high-level Crystal Maiden isn't the same thing as having a high-level Vengeful Spirit, so...
Yeah, there's only so much Fog can actually do on this hero. But don't count out that CM ult.
That CM ult
there's only 3 ways to cancel it on Mouse, and they're probably not using their stun on Fog.
Well, I do believe that Dignitas wants to transition into a push up top, and let's see if there's anything that Mousesports is doing. Are they pressuring bot? Are they pressuring mid? They're actually not doing anything. This could be a free tower.
Mousesports are spreading, kind of shifting around the map a bit more. Like you mentioned, they moved a lot more in this game early, and they continue to move now. They'll group up, and they'll push bottom. And if it turns into a Tier 1 trade and they get the trade, I give Mouse the edge there. They've already denied the Tier 1 mid, and getting this bottom tower is more important. But Snake King will try and slow it down. Uh-oh. He's got to be careful. There's Dragon Tail. There is no swap available yet. And it's going to be a tower trade. Dignitas strike first. They might be able to turn 2. But I think Mouse can TP and defend. Dignitas aren't that scary of a team to TP into.
Yeah, not like last game where they had, you know...
mass stuns. I mean, it's a little scary against Lifestealer, but if your Dragon Knight goes in first, even if he dies, he soaks up a lot of damage. We'll see, though. Maybe not with this Alpha Wolf here. Alpha Wolf's pretty strong, man.
Well...
Okay, so the Tier 1 does fall. Snake King going to self-stun again. And they will defend. So I like that trade for Mouse overall.
Yeah, it was okay. I do like the early game rotation from Snake King. He's now getting a little bit more XP. Although Fata's coming back in. No, just flavor. Just for you know, a little bit of CS before he TP's back. That's
Mouse
value.
feels very tentative this game. I mean, even though they're moving more, they're playing pretty scared.
They are. And to be honest, Black is not having the start that I think he needs to have a good Razor game. He's not dying, but at the same time he's not getting too much done. Like he has an anti-mage score right now. You know?
In terms of his hero kills,
yeah.
1-0-1, I mean, it's not a whole lot for him. Mid lane, here's your Crystal Maiden.
Maiden.
Oh, Koikfa on the run. He'll be okay. He's got a time-lapse available as well. Doesn't choose to pop it, afraid of the backup. Well, when you can't kill that CM, that's pretty sad.
Snake King stuns himself yet once again. There was a very interesting gif yesterday of Puppy stunning himself repeatedly, and this could be part 2. Snake King, just throw it, man.
For the time being, score 4-4. We're 11 minutes in. Gold experience, pretty even. Slight experience lead to Dignitas. I think if this goes late, though, Dignitas are going to have a pretty... I mean, I don't know if they have overwhelming superiority, but they've got a better farming lineup. That's the main issue for me, is eventually you have your Greevil's Greed, you have your Acid Spray, and Prophet's got a Midas. it's going to be hard for Mouse to keep up. Razor, not the best flash farmer. Dragon Knight, decent with items, with ancient stacks, with Helm of the Dominator. We're not seeing any of that yet.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are having somewhat of a slower start. They're kind of focused a little bit more on ganking. We do see Dignitas making a smoke gank on the bot lane. Look at Enchantress just picking up all these creeps and trying to get a tier 1 tower push. Both teams are not really efficient with their tower push. Both teams are not too efficient with their smoke ganks, and that's why we're only seeing a 4-4 score so far. But I think Mousesports is going to get yet another tower. I think if I was Dignitas, I would just ping Roshan and say, you know what, let's go for it right now. We'll trade a tier 1 top for a Rosh, but I think they're going to go for a tier 1 tower trade instead.
They're going to try and take a tower and defend. This is pretty bold by Mousesports. There's no glyph available. Cinderin just slowing things down with his wards for the time being, but the tier 1's going to fall bottom. No trade in sight aside from the tier 1 top, but no fighting, or no fighting in sight, I mean to say. So 1-4 trade in the end, and AUI 2000 just going to push in mid lane. Overall, both teams just afraid to fight.
Yeah, I mean, neither team really have a clear advantage. If you look at the Go chart, it's only a 500 goal lead, which is absolutely nothing. The experience, though, a little bit further ahead for the supports. And, you know, Way Too Sexy's eventually going to make his presence felt, right? He's going to be going point booster, so perhaps a kind of a later game carry Enchantress.
Yeah, Impetus is pretty scary. And having the Aghanims means that you can try and kite a hero like the Dragon Knight. And they'll TP back to the top lane. They'll continue to farm. Ultimately, Veno isn't a support that scales well at all. And Cinderin, I mean, sure, he's got his boots. He's level 5. You can run in, at least pop the ult, and then die, which offers something to your team. But as much as Venge can be a huge impact support later on, we're just not seeing Poss with the kind of levels that we saw last game from Fog. Or no, Way Too Sexy, was it?
Right. Oh, both of them, because they played well last game. This is actually fairly aggressive coming out from Dignitas, because AUI just TP up top, and they're starting a Roshan. You see that AUI just lumbering himself down here. I'm not really sure they could get this, but
they can. There's no contest.
Why not? Mousesports, here it comes, because Black could own this fight very easily.
Roche is dropping low. We're going to have a big engagement soon. Black not scouting things out yet. There's your plasma field. Roche dropping low. They've got to go now if they want to contest. Roche is already dead, and now they're fighting. Now they want to run, but Fog says, come back here. Alk's done on 3. He's done it. He's nailed him. Now Black on the run. Koikva trapped in the trees, along with Vata. TP out attempted. It's a headlong retreat. They will get away at least one. Cinderin trying to escape out as well.
Oh, Cinderin, you are so dead, my man. He's going to try to run. He's trying to spend all of his gold. Buy a smoke, my friend. He doesn't. He loses about 80 gold, but yet another kill going to Dignitas. That is a Roshan. That is about 3 kills. More importantly, that's a kill on Black. Oh no. Things are just falling apart completely.
Just indecisive and tentative for Mouse. They threw out the plasma field. They saw Roche was dropping low. Black was kind of hiding on the cliff. He wasn't sure if he wanted to go in. Then the other 3 heroes were diving this way to chase down another hero. Roche was about to die. You either have to go and try and take the Aegis immediately, or you run. I mean, you cannot be chasing other heroes while they're taking Aegis, because then even if you get that 1 kill, you're going to lose 3 or 4.
It was a very hard kill, and now Snake King is going to find Fata. I don't think Fata is going to be in trouble. Although, with that said, Enchantress is coming in from the south. Multiple TPs are coming in. And, wow, he's actually trying to fight
Dragon
this.
Tails AUI. AUI didn't get off rage, but there's not much chance of running. Not with Enchantress here as well. Fata to get picked off. That delays his BKB, and that's going to be an opportunity to push.
Another stun's going to go on Cinderin. Cinderin is going to be dead for sure. Any defensive swap just yet. Magic Missile is going to go AI Black, draining a lot of damage. He gets 1 kill. He's going for a second on AUI. He's doing a ton of damage, and now Staking behind enemy lines. He's going to go down. The overcommitment of Dignitas paying dearly right now.
Fog to fall as well. That's going to be a 3 for 2, and they did it without the Swarm, by the way. Koikva, I think he just used it to push the bottom lane. Wasn't available for that fight, and they still take 3. The Aegis, however, is up on AUI 2000, and he's almost got an armlet. I'm still a bit worried for Mousesports, but that is the kind of fight they need. Quick, decisive reactions, and just go for it.
Yep.
You have a Razor. This hero needs to be fighting, not farming, and they're doing it.
Yeah, also the focus fire was a lot better that fight. They just isolated one, killed him, went for the second, and of course, the order was Snake King and then Fogged, and it was very crisp. One thing I do want to point out during that Roshan fight is, I mean, I love my CM, but her Crystal Maiden ultimate just basically zoned out the enemy team. They cannot run in against that AoE.
Yeah.
So they backed off, and you're backing off against an Alchemist stun that hits 3. You're backing off against Lifestealer. It's really hard to run from that team.
Yeah, they also didn't spread, and so
yeah,
that Alch stun hurts. If you get a triple Alch stun, generally the fight's going to go poorly. So now Mousesports back to farming. They'll work towards their next items now. No, they'll smoke. Okay. Immediate aggression from them. They just don't want to let Dignitas reach critical mass. They don't want to let them start pushing and getting out of control. So they'll smoke up, but it's a level 9 Dragon Knight. He's going for a haster in bottom. Is there Dignitas vision of this? There's not. This Observer Ward looks like not quite, or actually just sees the room. I don't think they notice Fata grabbing it. They'll bottle up the haster, and can they actually find a kill? I mean, the thing is, Fatsa does need levels this game. They need that level 3
Yeah,
Frost
he's
Dragon.
only level 9, 16 minutes in as a solo mid, so it just...
They need him 16, especially because Dignitas have 2 melee carries.
Yep.
You need to be able to kite them. You need level 16, and all these smoke ganks, all these deaths, not helping him get there.
I do like the fact that they are smoke ganking, because if they don't do that, they're not actually inherently applying any pressure. If you look at the other side, Dignitas has a Shadow Blade on the Universe. You could combine that with your Lifestealer Bomb and gank over the map. And in a sense, that limits where Mousesports is farming. They're saying, hey, if we see you on the map, in theory, we could just kill you. On the opposite end, if you don't make those smoke ganks as Mouseport, the message that you send to Dignitas is, hey, you could farm, you could do whatever you want, and we're not going to contest. And that's generally not how you want to give your enemy team freebies. So Mouseport need to make those smoke ganks. Unfortunately, they need to also make those work, and they're not working right now.
And it'll soon be even more passive pressure if they want it, because Snaking's going to have a Shadow Blade, and then Lifestealer Bombs, double Shadow Blade threat. It means that Mousesports have to basically 5-man at that point.
Yep. And meanwhile, though, if you free up Dignitas, look at what they're doing right now. You can see that Enchantress jungling it up, trying to go for the Ags. About a little bit over halfway there. Snake King is also jungling it up. Crystal Maiden getting some levels. She's also pulling for her team. So I just think that Dignitas right now a little bit more efficient, and obviously their heroes allow them to do that. We talked about the Shadow Blades and AI also jungling it up.
If you're up against double Shadow Blade, you need the Lincoln Sphere on Koikfa before that Alk Shadow Blade comes out. Else, we're going to see him just get absolutely squashed.
Well, here we
and
go.
roasted.
TP on the mid lane here, and Black, he's dead. Is he, though?
And Fest bombs in,
Is
and
he?
TP's
No?
out. Great
Yeah.
reaction. Dignitas, actually a bit light on the stuns. And we didn't talk too much about it. It's not horrible, but Enchantress creeps, if they're not there, then it's just a Frostbite and an Alk stun.
Yeah. And neither of those are kind of amazing, reliable stuns. So unless they pick up things like Scythe of Ice, that was a good gank attempt. And that's kind of what I talked about. Dignitas have these ability to go all over the place and start picking off people. But Black says, forget that.
They smoke up deep in enemy territory and then rotate back towards the top lane. Dignitas 8-7 the score. They're leading by 1. They're already 5-2 in the group, looking to make it 6-2 through their first 8 games. That would put them in pole position to finish top 4 in the group.
They don't
Already looking good.
Yeah, they just don't have enough stun for this Weaver, though. So they just...
And he's going to have Lincoln soon. Koikfa, if he gets it up, there are some cute ways to remove it. Sprout will remove Lincoln Sphere. You can Frostbite first. You can Enchantress slow, but just getting off that first Sakuchi is normally enough to get away.
Mm-hmm. Well, AI is going to pick up a big item right now. Is it the armlet? Yes, it is. So that's a decent pickup. But this doesn't remind me of Era. Era would have this like 6 minutes ago, and we'll also have an SY on top right now. But obviously,
But Era also isn't getting challenged.
Right.
AUI got challenged in the lane, so I don't know if that's the fairest comparison.
It's not a fair comparison. And
Be nice to my man Kurt.
No, I love Kurt.
Curtis Ling.
Curtis Ling. Obviously, the two teams play a different style as well. Curtis joins these team fight a lot earlier as well. So, but Dignitas, is it safe to say that they're ahead, quite a bit? It's their game to kind of, if they want to kick the ball to a certain spot on the court, it's kind of, whatever they want to do, it's up to them.
So both teams are farming now, and you see Weaver's going for Lincoln Sphere, but Dignitas are going for multiple big items. The Shadow Blade's up on the Alk just about now. Your Prophet's going towards the Scythe device. Alk continues to farm, and now with Greevil's Greed, even a single point will accelerate your farm a lot. And then you look at a hero like Razor. Black, as well as the Dragonite, just going for BKBs. Once they get those, they're going to need to fight, because they just continue to get out-farmed as the game drags on. It's a minimal lead now, but it's going to start accelerating more. And also Roche at number 2 coming soon. By the time that Roche respawns, Mouse need double BKB, and I think they need to start taking some fights, Lumi.
Well, I mean, if you look at Snake King right now, he's 0, 4, and 5. Those early death has really slowed down his level gain, and he's only got 1 point at Greevil's Greed. So I'm not...
It's 1 point, though.
I mean, he's farming, but...
The same cap.
Like, last game, he has Shadow Blade and half of an AC by now. Like, you can see the big difference of having a good early game and a poor early game. So, Snake King, well, I mean, the late game is there. And if this game goes for 40 minutes, I agree with that sentiment. But for now, I think Mousesport have some time. They have some time. They also have a ton of minus armor.
Oh, they've gone in bottom lane. There's your Infest Bomb. Trying to make a go on Koikfa. If his Lincolns is down, then he won't be able to get away. There's no Frostbite, though, and he'll simply TP out. Great reaction by him. And TPs continue to be the bane of Dignitas' existence.
I mean, they're not losing too much. They're still farming wherever they go, so it's okay. But at the same time, you want those ganks to fly out.
But now Snake King has a Shadow Blade, so now I imagine we'll see him get more active in the ganks, and if he's there won't be those TPs out.
Right. The big difference is this game and last game is that right now, Alchemist has no armor. He's only got 3, and there's nothing but minus armor on the main team. Oh, Fata is going to find Way Too Sexy. I think, where the hell is the stun? He right-clicked first on Way Too Sexy, and as a result, he got slowed by Untouchable. And he never actually got the actual stun off. That was awkward.
Yeah, Way Too Sexy is not an easy kill either. He is quite tanky at this point. Acceptor's coming very soon for him. And we can't count him out. I mean, we talking about the 3 carries for Dignitas. Well, Enchantress can end up being the big damage dealer if the game drags on.
Well, she's also fairly weak to BKB, so there's that to be worried about.
There's no BKB on Weaver, though.
Not yet.
There's 3 heroes that will be... Well, Koikfa can't go for one. He needs to get a damage item after this Linken's. If you go BKB and Linken's this game, I think...
Oh, you could just ignore that Weaver.
Yeah. Ignore you or right-click you.
Yeah. Well, Fata is kind of gotta be their shining star. He's level 11. He needs to hit 16. One other thing that we didn't really talk about, you talked about the melee carry. The Frost Dragon attacks also go through BKB, so or magical immunity, so it's gonna be good against Lifestealer no matter what.
Koikfa trying to steal some enemy farm. You will get stunned here. The Linken's is close.
Wrath comes in. Nicely
Not
done.
close enough. Well executed gank, and that's the difference between having Linken's and not having Linken's.
Yep, and having a Shadow Blade and not, right? I mean,
Yep.
your Alchemist is a lot more effective in fighting these solo kills. And it seems like Dignitas is...
Oh, they might have gotten a bit greedy here, though. A bridge too far for Dignitas. The stun and the swap both on way 2. Now they'll follow up with a Gale and a Poison Nova. And Fog says, I'm going down with this ship. I'll channel my ult. The backup has arrived. They get to... Rather, they only get the Crystal Maiden. The Enchantress still alive. And AUI 2000 chasing down Black. One more hit will bring him down. Zapping. AUI 2000 too strong. A self-stun from Snake King. Pos TPing out. It looked so good for them, but... It's always that Prophet TP turning things around.
I mean, they lost one because Enchantress TP back, and he TP back to a tier 2 tower because he knew that his allies were coming. And Crystal Maiden dropped a big YOLO ult. Sure, she didn't kill anybody, but it made a lot of an easier job for the rest of Team Dignitas. They win a big fight, and now they're going to go for tier 2.
Now they have a Basher on AUI 2000, so more lockdown for them. The BKB for the Dragon Knight still not out yet. We saw the Razor BKB, but the thing about Razor BKB is... If he's just running from you, then that hero is useless. I mean, what you want to be doing is stealing their damage, chasing them, and right-clicking them. But if AUI 2000 hits him 3 or 4 times before he BKBs, if he hasn't already stolen a bunch of damage, he just gets chased down.
Yep.
It's why when we see a Razor pick, we always focus on, will they do well in the laning stage? Will they find kills? Will they be aggressive? Because if you're just sitting back and farming, generally, even if Razor's team wins, he's not the reason why.
So, LD, what's your verdict? Did he do well early game? I mean, the score's 2-4. He's got 104 CS.
I don't think he did well early game, but I also don't think it was in his control. Once Sinner gave up that first blood, the lane was kind of over, and they made it officially over by smoke ganking.
Yeah, I mean...
Which was fine. I think it was fine to smoke gank. The first blood, though, great play by Dignitas. Again, that clever eating your way through the trees and backstabbing with the lifestealer. That was smart by them, but it's where if they got the first blood, then maybe they can actually fight in that tri-lane.
So I think both team is farming away. Mousesport looking for some critical items. They're working so far here for a Linken Sphere on Koifa. It's not done just yet. Pos does have that's a mech, so that's pretty impressive.
He actually does have his Linkens. Just picked it up.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Double BKBs up, and these particular items is going to be pretty good in shutting down Way Too Sexy's damage output, so I like that. I like to see Black working towards an Acceptor and then a Refresher Orb, because I just don't see them actually having enough damage without getting something amazing like that, because you're not going to outdamage a Lifestealer, you're not going to outdamage Alchemist, who is now enjoying a level 3 Grievous Screed, so they got to get something big, and that's the only way I see it. Acceptor, Refresher Orb.
Yeah, again, it's not that Mouse doesn't go late, because they do. It's just that Dignitas farms way better than them. Prophet farms better. Lifestealer is safer to farm in general. There's not many ways for Mouse to gank him. In fact, there's basically nothing with no Shadowblade on Dragon Knight. So I think Mouse with the right items could take it really late game as well, but it's just their ability to get items is way weaker than Dignitas.
Yeah, I mean, Venomancer is just a piss poor support in late game. Bench is not bad, but she's only level 9, so...
I think it's mainly the farming, though.
Yeah.
Because compare Razor to Alchemist or Prophet, I mean, he just doesn't farm.
Well, one way to get some farm is to get some kills, and Fata's coming ahead.
Farm those heroes. Here we go. Fata walking in mid.
I mean, Way Too Sexy's been on this mid lane forever, it feels like.
So right now, Mouse is really worried about Roche, as well they should be, because Dignitas have mass minus armor. Or not mass, but they have enough, right? So
I mean,
Dignitas don't have to be worried about it. They're just split pushing, and if Mouse actually go for this, and Dignitas are able to contest in time, look for the Lifestealer Bomb. It's probably coming soon. Here it goes. Winding up his universe, but Roche is dropping low. Can they get here in time? They're a little bit indecisive. Fata trying to walk forward and back. The Alch stun's coming. It's coming in a hurry. Roche already down. Aegis to Koikfa. Now Dignitas on the run. They got here a bit too late. Now AUI 2000. All his damage being stolen. Black slashed onto him. There's the nukes. AUI might go down. Oh, that would be a big kill. He does. One more slash of that whip. Now Way Too Sexy to fall as well. Dignitas They just waited too long.
Crystal made it low ground, high ground. Oh,
Uh-uh.
just for show. Because you see him.
3 dead. They were too late.
They were too late. I mean, you were saying, you know, Dignitas could challenge us.
I mean, they had vision.
The minus
They
armor.
knew it was happening. They just underestimated how long it took Mouse.
Right, the minus armors is absolutely insane coming out here from Mousesports, and they win that big team fight. I do have to say, though, the MVP of that fight for me was Synderen, because as the entire Dignitas ran down this path, it was the easiest scale of his life, and also it got like a 4-man Venomancer ultimate. It just made everybody's else job so much easier. And oh no, the swap.
Snake King caught out of position. Now the damage being stolen. Sentry Ward deployed. And Snake King's dead. That's 3 still dead. He'll be dead for another 50. And that means Mousesports. Well, it was a game where they were trailing by 5k gold. Not any longer. The graph's going only one way. Straight up.
Yeah, and Dignitas Snake King, you can see that when his aggression gets paid off in game number 1, he just snowballs so hard. But when it doesn't work, he's sitting in the score 0, 5, and 7, and it feels like he has no impact. I mean, he found that, you know, solo kill up top against the Weaver with the help of Nature's Prophet, but aside from that, I feel like he hasn't done much.
Mousesports, such an important game for them. 1-5 through their first 6 games. 1-6 after the game 1 of this series. They need this win. They got to start putting wins on the board to have any chance whatsoever of finishing top 4 in this group. So winning this game is super important in that respect, just on a practical sense. And then for their confidence, Lumi.
Yeah, I think the confidence is a lot more.
It's very big.
Because looking at how the standing breakdowns right now, I just don't see them making it to top 4.
I think they could. But they need to win this, and they need to probably win the next 6 games.
I think it's more important for them to beat a couple of good teams here, make a deep run in the group stage, and say, you know what? Sure, we didn't have a good day 1, but we finished strong on day 2 and day 3, and we could actually make a rise in the lower bracket if we do end up there.
Yeah, I'd rather have a mediocre group stage but feel good at the end of it than have a great one but, you know, finish on a sour note.
I'd rather be Navi of last year than CLG. CLG came out strong day 1 and then just felt weak, right?
No, we're not saying Dignitas is CLG because they feel a lot more deep and well-rounded to me so far.
Sure. I meant the kind of how you started a group stage with
That's
your
true.
scores.
That's very true.
Yeah, so there is a Scythe of Ice up here on Nature's Prophet, so that's going to give him a nice bit of damage, but more importantly, actually a real way to gank that Weaver. So Lincoln Sphere still being very annoying, though.
Yeah, and it also just gives them that instant lockdown. And when you're up against double BKB, Scythe of Ice, even though it doesn't affect heroes that are BKB, is in some ways the best item to have because it's an instant disable. You get it off, you blow them up before they get off the BKB, and they have the chain stun for it. BKB is pretty useless.
Yeah. Dignitas right now is just going for the mass late game. You said how they farm better, how they farm easier, and AUI is going for a Abyssal Blade. We have the Scythe up, and I imagine Universe is going to start going for some damage. BKB should be out really soon as Snake King, and he could go back for that AC. So Dignitas, even though they lost that big team fight, even though they lost to Roshan in Tier 2, they're not really pressured.
They have avenues to late game, and they always have split push. They always have, I would say, better ganking than Mouse. Because there's no Shadow Blade on Fata, and at this point it looks like he's just not going for one. So Mouse don't put much pressure out through just, you know, ganking all over the map. But I think where Dignitas is going to have issues if this game goes on is getting kited. Because they have a great lineup to kite, and they also have a great lineup in sustained team fights. Weaver, the bugs just do more and more damage the longer the fight goes on. If Black leeches damage, it doesn't die instantly. If he does get that Ags, the Refresher Orb eventually that you talked about, if the Frost Dragon's there. If any of these 3 are there, Dignitas are going to have a lot of trouble in those late fights, almost no matter how farm they get.
I mean, it depends on how the initiation comes. If
right,
they initiate,
and that's where the ganking power of Dignitas comes into play.
Right, like if you come in and Scythe 1 up with the Lifestealer coming out and Fist, that should be easy team fight. If you're initiate with the stun, that should be easy team fight. Looks like we're going to see a little bit of Tier 2 tower trade, and this trade, if it goes kind of evenly, gotta favor Dignitas a lot more. That Tier 2 mid, so important for Roshan.
It won't go, I don't think it goes evenly here, though. There's a glyph up on the Radiant. They'll pop it now, and they take the Tier 2. A flurry of TPs, a smoke as well, and Dignitas immediately retreat out. Quick foot with the gem. Hunting right now. Looking for Universe. Shadow blading away. He's still chasing. He's still running forward. Remember, there is a Scythe on Universe. There is a Sprout available. They don't have any detection for him right now.
Oh, there's double damage.
Double damage for Snake King. There's your Sprout attempted by Universe. Still giving chase. Still no backup. Now Fata in tow. They'll continue to hunt here. They've isolated AUI a bit, but Lifestealer not a hero that you necessarily want to cage and corner, and they will back off.
Good retreat here by Team Dignitas, but a very good kind of push and then immediate defense from Mousesports. So no harm, no foul either way. Aegis is running out soon, and Dignitas has been doing a very good job dodging these fights. I do want to say that Dignitas, back in the days where they pegged like 4.5 farmers, one of their really good thing that they kind of perfected is dodge fights when they can't take those fights because you're greedy as hell. And now they're kind of going back to their roots. When they're weaker or they don't feel as confident, or when they have Aegis on the enemy team, just dodge, split push.
Yeah, fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of the Dignitas way when they're behind. And unfortunately, though, well, you can only dodge for so long. Eventually, you run out of outer towers to take and trade for. And right now, it's Mousesports who strike first. They take the tier 2 bottom, and now with their tier 2 mid still online, Roshan control fairly equal for both teams. That means Mousesports maybe will have a shot at this Roshan number 2. They'll also have an MKB now on Koikfa. And now, their ability to kite, they'll Dragon Knight about to hit level 16, and still Aegis online. Mouse. Oh, actually, I can't see the edge of this. How long is left on that? Less than a minute.
It's less than a minute. It's coming out right now. And here, Dragon Form going for a tier 3. Tier 3 really
actually, sorry, it's gone already.
Yeah,
it's gone. So now they need to back, but Black caught by a stun. Do they jump on him now? Remember, he does have a BKB, but he's dropping fast to the imps. He's got to pop it. He doesn't BKB. He thinks he can run. He gets Scythe. Still, Cinder with a huge ult. Fatsa trying to fight this one out. The damage being stolen by Black, but he's low. He's not dead quite yet. Now Snake King charging forward, backing off, swapped in, Pass in the middle of it. So is your Dragon Knight. Crystal made an ult channel, but not for long. 2 dead. Black is hitting pretty hard. Actually, it's Koikfa doing all the work, though. Infest from AUI. Pops back out, tries to run. The MKB still not here. Can Koikfa find the kill? The Armlet Tugger from AUI is on the mark. He gets out. Fatsa backing off. And now, one more stun. They've isolated Koikfa. Do they have the detection? Sentries drop, but he's got a time lapse. No! Yes, he gets it off in time. He gets the kill. He drops the gem. It's 3 down, and they lose the gem. Now Fatsa trying to TP out. They needed to back sooner, Lumi. That Aegis was about to expire. They were fighting under the enemy tower. They didn't have their MKB. They didn't have their level 16 Dragon Knight. That was just too greedy.
Yeah, they got a little bit too greedy, saying, hey, maybe Dignitas is going to slow in with the rotation, or be slow with the rotation. Maybe they thought they could take the tier 3, but the rotation just came instantly. Dignitas, again, king of turtles of the West, the way how I see it. And they were so good in terms of that hill. Way too sexy. Spent all of his mana dropping impetus. And generally, that's a good team fight for Enchantress. If you don't die and you spent all your mana pool killing people, that's good stuff. And now, winning that team fight, Abyssal plays up on Lifestealer.
Just imagine if Black had his Ags in that team fight, if Weaver had his MKB, and if Black... And the other thing was if Black BKB'd sooner. Like, he waited for a long time there.
He got chain stun.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, though, that Prophet then came in and scythed him, and even though Black didn't die for a long time, he was too low to fight. Like, that's, again, where he needs to BKB right away, or he just has to run. And if he can't stand in the fight and leech damage, the hero's not very useful.
Yeah. Also, AUI, to be fair, he's not really useful in these team fights as well, because he's getting his damage rain every fight. So, at least credit Black in terms of zoning Lifestealer out. And these two, Universe and AUI, get friends, because they are looking to infest bomb more people soon.
Overall, even though I think that was a pretty good win for Dignitas now, the thing is that now Mouse have those next items, and I think the most important thing, they have the Frost Dragon.
Well, I mean, so does Universe and AUI, because they could actually kill Weaver anytime they want now with the Abyssal Blade and a Hex.
Yeah.
That's true, and Gem on top. That's a big thing that Universe got.
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas, maybe their ganking improved, but I would say Mouse's team fight has improved way more. If it's a 5v5 clash, I think I give Mouse the edge now.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. The thing is, will they ever get a 5v5 clash?
They have before. Yeah. Can they do it again? That's the question.
They gotta either storm down a lane, or maybe set up a camp at Roshan. That's generally 2 really good ways to force those fights.
And as you pointed out earlier, Dignitas masters of the art of dodging fights that they don't want to take, pushing mid, pushing top, preparing for Roshan number 2.
Yep. That's why I question whether Mouse could find those fights, because Dignitas is like, yeah, we'll just split push.
It's imperative that Snaking doesn't overextend and get caught out here, though. In fact, maybe his team wants to fight. He'll back off. And the reason I mention that is Snaking is the one who's been getting caught quite a bit this game.
Oh, they're thinking about
here they go, though. They're lurking mid. They just start with the Scythe. He does have evasion here once this Hex ends, but it doesn't seem to matter. There's your stun. Not enough invasion. Not nearly enough.
Yeah.
And what a time for a kill. A tier 2 to fall as well. And now Roshan primed for the picking for Dignitas.
I mean, like, Dignitas just killed the enemy DK, and they could, like, take a 5v4 fight up the hill, but they don't do that. They're like, you know what? We won't want to take fights. We just want to evade, because we don't feel like we could overwhelmingly win this fight, and we'll just go for the for sure thing, which is the Roshan. So, this is kind of what I mean. Like, Dignitas is so annoying when you play against them, because they split push so much, they just go for random pickoffs, but they don't come kill your base.
If you're Mouse, you pretty much have to expect Dignitas to come from anywhere at any time, but I mean, you can't play that way. Ultimately, you're going to slip. That's just the power of this kind of lineup.
I mean, when they have a global TP with Scythe and Abyssal, there's just so much chain stun, so much damage. And here comes Roshan. That's 15 seconds of DK not being there, and there's no outer tower for him to TP to once he comes alive. This Roshan is free, so Dignitas, a very safe way to avenue of victory. And who picks up the Aegis? It's going to be Lifestealer.
Oh, sorry, I said Roshan number 2. It's actually 3. There's
Yeah.
cheese here as well. It's already 36 minutes in.
And suddenly damage is up on the Prophet. MKB is on him. And then we have Plate Mail up on Alchemist, so he is going to be your frontline tank with cheese. So he can play a little bit aggressive, and he can still be okay.
The pendulum swings back the other way. That Roshan and that little skirmish, it goes from barely any goal difference to nearly 10k. This game was right back in Mouse's grasp, but losing just one hero mid, not having Venge in position to swap him out, all of a sudden, Dignitas back on top.
Right, it just goes back to what we said earlier. Dignitas farms better. It's easier for them to farm. At the same time, Mousesports cannot apply any pressure over the map. So you can't gank AUI. You cannot gank Universe. Meanwhile, on the other side, they could gank you whenever they want. So it's really tough for Mousesports going deep into the game.
Uh-oh. Universe diving deep, but there's no jam on Mouse. They lost one earlier. They have not bought a new one yet. In fact, can they? No, still cooling down. Losing gem, we're against multiple Shadow Blades. We're just seeing time and again how much it hurts.
It's tough. Although I guess Cinderin could be plopping those, or I guess Posh could be plopping those Central wherever they go. It's expensive, but when you don't have a gem, that's kind of what you have to do.
He is trying to, but,
Yeah.
you know. The trail of breadcrumbs only goes so far.
Those are expensive breadcrumbs
Yeah.
to get.
It's like if you're playing Agricola, and the gem is basically the baker's oven.
Yeah.
Make new bread.
Damn.
If you're Mouse, you run out of the breadcrumbs.
These next
Got
level
nothing left.
references.
We like Agricola here, by the way. If you haven't heard of it, it is the best board game.
Yeah, I agree
I've only
with
played it once, but I like it a lot.
that. Well, it looks like we're gonna see a little bit of base push coming up. They did not work last time, but last time they did not have an Acceptor on the Razor. Let's see if there's any difference.
Here comes Mouse pushing for the high ground. They feel like they're getting cut apart. A billion different daggers into their legs, and here we go. They'll just say, "Let's fight now. Let's fight like men." But problem is, Universe, Rat Dota for him. He's pushing that top lane. It's going to be a base trade for now. Income staking, channeling the BKB, unloading the stun, going on to Paz. Now the Scythe on Fata. No BKB from him. The evasion not working because he's Scythed up. Now it ends, but they're in a headlong retreat. Paz, next in line. Cinderin as well.
Maiden.
For the fall. Huge CM ult, and everybody gets wiped. Weaver TPing out. That is a train wreck. Again, not getting off the BKBs. These Universe Scythe of Ice are just ruining Mousesports.
I mean, Universe and AEI just won the entire team fight for Dignitas. They teleported in behind the enemy team. AEI just went straight on Black. Abyssal Rage, just open wounds, just basically right-clicking him down to death. Black being forced to buy out.
Man fight. Universe almost taking that one as well. Barely able to run away. Oh, if he died, that would have been a gem. Lives with 40 HP, but
I mean, that's fine. He forced Black to buy out. It was cutting it a little bit close. He also had buyback, so it wasn't the biggest deal. And Universe says, "I'll TP the bot lane, get some earn for my CM, and keep on pushing."
score one for Team USA. 21-14, 39 minutes in. Dignitas getting closer and closer to taking game number 2. And if they do that, well, Lumi, they're 6-2 through their first 8 games. And even if they lose out, they'll still finish in the middle of the pack. And if they win 1 or 2 more series, 2-0, even if they just go 1-1 the rest of the way, virtually guaranteed a top 4 finish.
Yeah, once you get to the 8-2 mark, you feel, pretty good. Like, even if you go like 3-3 for your rest of matches, you're a very good shot at finishing at least in the top 4 spot.
Well, it's 6-2 so far, but
6-2.
if they win this game.
But if they win this game and if they win their next set, then they should be very confident finishing top 4.
And now with Rex exposed top lane, it's very hard for Mouse to do anything.
I mean, once you get that first Rex, when you're playing Nature's Prophet, like, you could have a sigh of relief. Snake thinking about going right back in. He sees Black, the BKB not there, but too deep to initiate.
Yeah, they maybe could take that fight and win, to be honest. Remember, they do have Aegis and Cheese, but why risk it, you know? This is just patience from Dignitas.
I mean, we saw Fnatic, or was it Fnatic yesterday? One of the team that was really ahead and took a team fight when they didn't need to, and kind of just threw the game in a sense. But Dignitas playing very, very safe.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to rush. They've got Aegis, they've got Cheese, they've got better split push, they've got better gank, they've got good late game, and with item advantage, the better late game, which they have. No hurry.
Well, I'm looking at Black right now. He's bought back. He's bought a Gold Scepter, which is something he needs to buy considering the fact that Lifestealer is just...
Oh, Universe. What a playmaker.
Oh.
Now going for another kill, but
Nice
he
swap.
will be forced back. The swap on cooldown. Now Waytu's jumping in. Black wants to fight. He's got a BKB. This time at least he gets it off in time, but with the Abyssal of AUI, he's got to run. He goes on to Cinder and drops him low. Damage being leaked. Damage being stolen. If Black gets enough, it could really hurt, but the Force Staff is going to end that. Now Fata trapped your CM ult in the middle of the fray. Somehow Fog's living. BKB, Crystal Maiden. What a hero. Now Fata, there's your Bash Lord from AUI. He summons it. He tries to find the kill. Can't do it yet. Now jumping on again. He's unloaded his Abyssal Blade. He's still alive. Aegis expired. Now snaking back into the fray. They found Koikfa. Koikfa to fall as well. 3 dead. Dignitas inching closer and closer to a Game 2 victory. 6-2. They can smell it. They can taste it. And I believe it will be theirs.
And it tastes so damn good. Dignitas working on the melee racks on the mid lane here, and they are going to get it without too much impulse. Keep in mind that Black does not have buyback. Koifa, not really the hero that can make this kind of defense. He gets hexed up. Are they going to go for the kill? They're right-clicking the impetus damage and the stun. Well, they're not going to get the kill. Or will they, though? Oh, my God.
That was close. They don't get it yet. Now spread it up. Koikfa under his tier 4. He got shredded. And Mousesports, they'll drop to 1-7. Dignitas, give them a 6-2. They are still sitting pretty right near the top. Even can make a play here for the winners of their group if they keep it up. Mousesports, though, man, this is horrible for them. 1-7 through their first 8 games.
My maple syrup Canadian boys. I'm telling you, easy rears 2-0. Nobody believed me.
I think plenty of people believed you after day 1.
Purge was
that
like
was not a bold prediction, Lumi.
Purge was like 1-1, you know? Not sure.
Guys, I think the 4-2 team is going to beat the 1-5 team.
But you guys, you and Blitz were like,
hey, we're the pioneers here.
Yeah,
we took a risk.
The other word for
Black, we trust.
The other word for being pioneers.
I still believe in Black. I still believe Mouse can come back, but I mean, somehow it's like they need to reset their brains. You know, they need to turn the computers off, reformat, and then come back with a fresh attitude because this hurts.
Yep, Dignitas takes the series 2-0 and improved the score to 6-2. Meanwhile, Black and his team drops down to 1-7. But let's hand it back to the analysts.
I love being right, mostly. It's great.
How do you feel, Blitz?
You know what? I said hashtag the king. I haven't tweeted it. I had so much faith in Snake King. This was actually a safe pick, you fool. If Mal's won, I look like a genius. If Mal's loses, I put all my hope on Snake King anyways.
And then you can blame him, right?
Exactly.
Like, well, guess he wasn't the king, guys.
So basically what you're saying is I'm a giant weasel and my name is Blitz.
I hedged all my bets.
If you enjoy weasels, Blitz_Dota on Twitter. Follow him there.
Not to be confused with Blitz Dota, who's a Russian guy who's very rude.
Yeah, I want to make sure that all the weasel lovers follow you. I want to get this right.
Okay, so discussing the game, we have... Actually, Mouse played a lot better this time. They were able to rotate on Snake King a lot more. I mean, he just had a difficult time getting anything started. The big difference between last game and this game was that it looked like Snake King just wasn't able to get a lot of traction into the game, and he's one of those guys that he can make or break the game for you in a way that if he gets a good start, he completely snowballs. And if he doesn't, then he has that kind of impact where you can abuse him.
And even with him being really far behind, he was still able to land a lot of stuns. Once you grab BKB, then you can just charge it up, run into melee range, stun anybody that you can. And I really like their decision making towards the late game and team fights. They just focused on both the Dragon Knight as well as the Razor, because those were the major 2 damage dealers. Obviously, Koikfa had a great game on the Weaver, but with just an MKB and a Linken's, his damage output wasn't something that was insanely scary. And honestly, most of the disables that was coming out of Mouse as well were on the Razor as well as the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight stun coming off cooldown every 10 or so seconds. I don't know what the exact cooldown is, but that stun is really annoying to deal with, not to mention the utility of the ulti slow. So taking that out, and as well as taking out the only way to counter the Lifestealer on the Razor, if you drop those 2 things, then Lifestealer can be Lifestealer and you can win team fights.
Yeah, I thought for a second Mouse had a good run, especially when they took that Roshan fight, and then Dignitas didn't really know what to do. AUI got isolated by the Razor static link, then he got killed. And then all those like 2 straight gank attempts that failed because whoever got ganked just TP'd out.
YOLO.
But barring that, I mean, I'd like to see Dignitas play a little bit more decisively. I think that Roshan fight was one of those things that really messed both teams up in Mouse and Dignitas, where they were like, well, do we take this? Do we not? You can't really wait it out because both times the Roshan engaged.
Yeah.
Then they were kind of stuck, and then they had to fight. So if you're going to engage in a fight like that, I'd like to see them just say, okay, we're going to go, or don't, because you're gonna give up an Aegis, and then you're gonna give up a bunch of kills on top of that.
Even more importantly, I think, was that even though they did engage, at least when Dignitas engaged on Mouse, when Mouse took it fast, they didn't even have good positioning. So they didn't even have a chance of burning through the Aegis. Like, they didn't even need the Rosh advantage there. I mean, sure, they maybe got a level or 2 from it, but they didn't even need the Rosh advantage to be able to win that fight. So if, like you said, everybody was really segmented. If you do go in late, you have to at least try to reduce the panic level and group up and have good positioning, which everybody, I know you guys have all played that in a pub game where you're like, they're rushing, everybody rushes there and they're like, do we go in, do we go in, do we go in? And what do you do? But like, if you're going to be late, you might as well at least be organized so that you can try to win the fight.
You know, one other big thing that we talk about a lot here, at least on Beyond the Summit, and that, I mean, Winter is always pushing, is the importance of gem in this, and especially in this game. There's double Shadow Blade. When they had that gem, they were finding the pickoffs, they weren't getting caught. As soon as they lost it, the game really crumbled. So I think losing that gem and also blowing the Aegis and staying around too long, I mean, the gem really hurts.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Dignitas, even though they won this game, they haven't really won it because that Roshan team, they had the game kind of on lockdown until that point. Mouse just waltzed in under the guise of a dire observer ward, took Roche for free.
Yeah, they dewarded. They were spotted doing it.
Yeah, and then they didn't even deward. They just walked in. They just like, okay, we'll take it. And Dignitas did not show up in time, did not rotate in time. And if you do that against your Navi, Alliance, LGD China,
they're going to show up a lot quicker.
Right, so
and they'll bring fire hoses as well.
So they need to step it up, even though they won 2-0. I mean, come on, step it up, America, USA.
They won 2-0. Step it up, guys. That's our message for Dignitas here.
Yeah, but I actually really like their play in general. I think the key for them for future success is if Snaking gets off to a better start and he's able to have more of an impact on the game.
Yeah, Alchemist is a bit easy to gank in the early game, especially pre-6, so maybe more ward coverage to cover him or something like that. Who knows?
Yes. So that was game 1 and game 2. Dignitas takes that 2-0 over Mousesports, sending them actually to a 6-2 start.
And on that note, do we want to look at the groups?
Yes, by all means. If we can pull that up, Kawa.
Can we
If
get some
they're
results?
updated and accurate.
Are they updated and accurate?
I don't think so. I think the only ones
think this is accurate.
Well, Fnatic EU is now 6-1.
DK
Navi.
took another game. Fnatic took another game, pulling away from the pack.
Navi took a 2-0.
Yeah, Navi took a 2-0.
Oh, maybe not
against
pulling away.
MUFC.
This group A.
MUFC was looking so good in terms of taking game
Yeah,
one
I
from
thought
Navi.
MUFC was actually going to take that game off Navi.
Man.
I was watching it and I was like, wow, they actually have a legitimate shot. But
How did they not?
Oh, and 8. But, I mean, if they came close to taking a game off Navi, maybe that still gives them confidence. Like, we could actually beat Navi almost, so maybe we can beat some of these lesser teams.
If you look at Group A, is that group set? Because the only the next closest person is LGD China. And
so LGD China lost their first game against, was it Fnatic?
I believe so.
it was,
Fnatic, yeah.
So game 2's underway. Is that decided yet?
Well, LG is leading by 4 kills.
I think I predicted this would be a 1-1. So, I mean, we'll see. But
Well,
if LGD could take that,
there's
I
a
think they're still in it.
There's a Scotty on Fnatic Shadow Fiend, so games are hard
Well, did you know Scotty is the least built item in Dota 2?
for a reason.
Competitive Dota 2.
But it also pierces through BKB, so
is this actually Alliance's first game up against Tongfu, the one we have next?
yes, it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, some of the team is the way it works is that some of the teams don't play in each time slot, so half of them are just resting. So we see Alliance now. I think before we can take a quick break before we introduce that match. But any closing thoughts on this series? We're going to see a lot more of Dignitas today. Mousesports continue to struggle.
Not too surprised to see Dignitas win multiple games, at least one. We all expected. Well, that's not true. You thought Mouse was going to win, right?
I said to a Mouse.
All of you guys also thought LG China was going to climb back up, and Dignitas would drop to the bottom 4. So
Yeah, but it's not looking like
F
that.
you guys all. I was
Well-
a believer. I knew I was the prophet.
You know, Lumi, we have a lot of League of Legends fans in the stream chat, and they were
Okay.
questioning our professionalism.
Yeah?
I don't think saying F you guys is professional.
I
You
don't
want me to
either.
go with the full word or what?
Yeah, that's exactly what I
Okay,
want.
all right. Next time.
Hey, what he meant to say was fuck you guys. There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
So, I don't know. I think Dignitas, by the way they looked in the first game when they were able to get the ball rolling and they were the initiators, they were the aggressors. I think if they can play like that, then they have a lot of success. But I think in the second game, that wasn't the kind of Dignitas that will win championships.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
By the way, that comment was not directed at the viewers or the League of Legends fans. It was directed at the rest of the studio, which Lumi was saying.
Damn
that's
it.
Even though
control.
he said the F-bomb, you could all blame it on me, because
Yeah.
that's my-
Lumi was flaming us, not you.
Yeah.
So I was giving him a voice, guys. But with that being said, do we have anything else to add here, or?
Nope.
Okay. Let's take a quick break, guys. When we come back, it'll be Tongfu versus Alliance. Best of two of the top dogs in Group B. Duke it out. Stay tuned.